can build Rocket Bell and should build Rocket Bell. I think that's the key thing we're hitting on.
Effort, that's not Nasus. Wait, Effort. What? Where's the? Come on. Oh my good, he didn't hover Nasus. Wow. He hovered Teemo instead?
What is the world coming to?
I have no idea. I don't even know what it means. So I'm trying to decipher it.
Cuz going for the Aatrox, you know, a pick that we were talking about slow starters, not the best early ganker, and also playing into the likes of Varus, Azir, might well...
That's a Jin. Kiin's playing Varus top.
Into
oh my, they have been infected by the LEC.
Yeah.
Lurking in the reeds. I know it's a brush, but he's a crocodile. You know, that's what they want to do.
Hey, that's a good place for him. He can just farm up the experience and not interact at all.
All right, cuz
he's going for an early invade, gank, invade.
Question mark. Well, Canyon is just going to run away from his Grump. Got the info that this was happening on that ward next to the Raptors, and so Cuz just going to walk on in after taking his red. Does give him a lot of extra combat power. Perfect does at least get himself the cannon. Is now BDD running towards Chovy. Flash quite early on in that exchange.
Broad sounds.
I'm a big fan. All right, Kiin down quite low. Doesn't have teleport, remember. Won't have that until the quest is completed, and does have to use the flash to get out of the way.
Even though he's not maxing those, still do a good amount.
Slice and dice, and Perfect is going to throw down the Dominus. Stun does come on through there as the exhaust is now being used up. Let's see whether he can hold on to this position. Gets that Fury back, but the Cold Meat comes through, and Cuz just here a little bit too late. That is first blood and a solo kill for Kiin. He doesn't have the flash available though, so he will be going down, and Cuz is going to lock up that one. So KT immediately answering back, but still a great kill here for Kiin, who really wants to stay ahead in this lane.
And the power of the ultimate, just the stacking of the Blight doing so much damage. Lethal tempo as well in the extended trade.
Oh, Canyon paying BDD a visit here, who does just put Chovy in prison and then wander away. Phase Rush working out quite nicely here, as he should be able to run back towards the mid lane as well. Cosmic Binding utilizing the Scuttle Crab. Very cute there from Effort.
Remember they nerfed Phase Rush? No, me neither.
Effort doesn't have Magical Journey anymore, as now Duro looking for the angle flash from Effort to get him out of that one. Done the weird flash up into the other brush for the juke.
I think that's
could have been a cute play. As
he's very dead.
Yeah, he's if at first you don't succeed with just one person, bring all of your friends. And so BDD probably going to get gifted this kill as well, as Kiin almost able to take down Cuz here. Oh my. If Cuz had died there, it would have been catastrophic.
True.
Still.
He did also play Jace last game, so...
Do you think that Perfect is dead?
Do you think that's a normal minion?
It's behaving quite oddly. As Perfect slices, gets out of the way of the snare, but hail of arrows. I think the Dominus wasn't entirely necessary, but I do like that he procced it anyway to make sure he didn't die. Speaking of dying, I think that Ruler might be in a bit of trouble here, although what tries to flash out of the way of a turret shot here does Effort. Not entirely sure about that one, as now Cuz with the World Ender procced. I don't know whether he's going to be dead just yet, but the curtain call comes in. He flashes into it. The deadly flourish, the flash from Canyon. Beautifully played. You've seen the play cam there as well. Pretty happy with how that one went, as now BDD in trouble. Realm Warp not going to work out here. And Duro going to turn up and help Chovy grab the kill. Gen.G just spring to life.
I will say, a little bit of help from Effort, who had a bit of an oopsie, but
I want to say, Ruler played that so incredibly well.
Yeah, read the flash from Cuz. Just beautifully played.
Just hitting everything. Speaking of which, Effort once again in a rough position. Will be taken down. It's max range Deadly Flourish.
뭐냐 이거?
Yeah, in fact, Gen.G with leads all over the place. But it's his top lane that is the largest one in really making it work, as Deadly Flourish onto Cuz. Does get a bunch of his health back, but that's a decent Pop Blossom. Duro likely to get punished for it because is already dead, and never mind, Duro survives. Aiming is now just in no man's land as the double kill comes in for Canyon, and Perfect just running away from the situation. Kiin doesn't need help. Duro, this is mean. It's all right. Effort going to be roaming up here as the magical journey brings him over. Kiin's underneath the turret. Not sure about that one, but Canyon turns up, and down goes the crocodile. Effort is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be another one over to the jungler. 4-0-2 now for Canyon, feeling fantastic on the Pantheon.
Well, I think Kiin appreciated the help. I think that's what we can definitely say about that one. Aiming, I was going to say dodges all the shots. He doesn't. Notably, the series so far. That's been his main opponent, we'll say. Well, Perfect too, but
Effort's main opponent has been basically everything here in this game, as Kiin is going to show up and demonstrate exactly my point. As Chovy is on an inner turret, Slice and Dice gets Perfect in amongst it, as Aiming turns up as well. And the Emperor's Divide will just mean that he gets away with no real worries at all.
He can just slide out, and KT put a lot of effort towards trying to make these picks happen.
See what you did there.
Just not.
All right, let's see whether they can actually get themselves a kill onto Kiin. He flashes to get himself out of the way, but he actually wants to stay in the fight as he takes down Cuz. Perfect goes in, and out he will go via the Death Chamber. Ruler just puts a fourth bullet into him.
At this point, do you even want to? Maybe you just... Maybe the way players working against them. You want to go to game 3 a bit sooner rather than later because they are struggling.
They want more time to theorycraft what they want to do in the next game. As Curtain Call going to be thrown out here, and Aiming does not have Spell Shield. Let's see whether that 4 shot's going to land. Effort going to tank it up. As a commentator, probably not a great thing for your brand. But I'm going to stick with it anyway, as Cuz finding some Qs here, but he's also going to find a whole bunch of damage. Tempered Fate going to connect onto only Chovy. That just buys him a little bit of time as KT are forced to back away. BDD rotating over, but he's on vision. So is Perfect, in fact, as there are just traps everywhere that he needs to deal with. And Chovy is going to find his Shuriman Brethren. Deals with that shield immediately. BDD is going to move over. Pop Blossom connects onto the rise, but now Duro could be in a little bit of trouble. That should be the trade back, but a 1-for-1 isn't necessarily working out here as Aiming is delivered to safety with the Realm Orb. Has to flash as Ruler's bullets are magnetized.
About gym builds I've learned.
What's that?
If you're really far ahead, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. And also, like, your 4th item is obviously the most important because you're gym. As there's a flash in from Canyon. Aiming is really dead, ladies and gentlemen, and Duro is going to make sure that they can get even more. As Cuz should be all right here with that World Ender up and available, but Effort is just going to have to run himself away. It is a back out here from BDD, who's been pretty quiet so far this game. He's now looking for an opportunity towards Kiin. But yeah, this Varus can kind of stand his ground and do a whole bunch of work if given the opportunity. As now Gen.G, there is a little ward there, so I think KT knows what's going on. As now Kiin running after BDD. Let's see whether this 1v1 will be won by the Rise or by the Varus as he goes golden, and BDD a flash out from Kiin, and he outplays him.
That was so close, so clutch.
Well, we've got even more fights. Exactly right. Effort gonna have to magically journey his way out. Perfect is extraordinarily dead, but does take Canyon with him as Chovy gets on in there to take down Cuz. Effort not long for the world either, as he needs another Conquering Sands and does not have it. As Effort will be able to escape. They take out the jungle though. That might mean that KT, at least by, you know, a little bit of time, hit 11 yet. I will be clear.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this 1v1. This was sick from Kiin.
Yeah, so it's, you know, BDD has Flash. Flash is the ult, which is a big factor in 1v1 against the Varus. Look how low Kiin gets immediately. Stasis is, and then has the empowered Q, flashes, and goes down to 5 HP.
Yeah, BDD
has his core items, but
Perfect gonna be okay. Is Effort gonna be
Effort.
Okay? No. Tempered Fate for fun, and he's dead.
Quite have Actualizer, which is really sad, but he's still very strong. Oh, Cuz.
Yep, Cuz chains corruption, and boom goes the dynamite here as Kiin will find him. Chovy the one to take down the kill, but now look at this AoE damage. My goodness, it's BDD on a flank angle, but I don't know whether it's really going to work out as Kiin just goes golden to avoid any trouble at all, and the Realm Warp does get BDD out of there, but the Baron goes over to Gen.G. It is all Gen.G all the time, is what it feels like here in this game number 2, as Perfect trying to get himself to safety, but Canyon just dives on top of him and throws a spear into the back of his head.
I think for the first time this season, we might be going to a game 3.
We might be. KT going to be losing their first game this season as well, which is kind of crazy. Effort going to go up to 6 deaths as well. I haven't seen many 6-death games so far this season. A lot of firsts have occurred in this particular series. Inhibitors going down, and Gen.G looking to stamp their name on this series and bring us to that deciding game number 3. Nexus turret's all that stands in their way, as KT gonna try and defend as best they can, but man, these wallets are so heavy. A 16, close to a 17,000 gold lead, Orcs. I'll say it, I think it might get there, and there it is. At least they do manage to take down Kiin towards the end, but that is a bare Nexus, and they will be able to take that one down. As never mind, wasn't quite 17,000 in the end, but 16.8 is close enough, and that is the Gen.G that we remember.